There is a place far away from hurry, a place where time does not push forward. It simply rests. In this place, nothing important is happening, and nothing is expected to happen either. You do not need to imagine anything clearly, you only need to listen and allow the words to pass slowly by like soft air. The day begins without urgency, not with alarms, not with voices, not with movement. The light arrives first. It enters gently, touching the edges of old stone walls. The light does not demand attention, it simply exists. A narrow road runs through the center of this place. The road has been walked on for so long that it no longer remembers who walked first. Its surface is smooth, worn down by centuries of slow footsteps. No carts pass right now, no animals, no people. Only the quiet remains. Along the road stand simple houses. They are not impressive, they are not colorful, they are calm. Each house looks almost the same as the next. Wooden doors, small windows, stone foundations that feel cool even in warm weather. Inside one of these houses lives a person, not someone important, not someone remembered by history, just a person. This person wakes slowly, not suddenly, not fully. Their eyes open halfway, then close again, then open a little more. Breathing is steady, unchanged. There is no reason to rush out of bed. There is no reason to stay either. Eventually the person sits up. They rest for a moment. The room is quiet, so quiet that even small sounds feel soft. A wooden chair stands in the corner. It has been there for years. It does not move. It does not complain. A simple table holds nothing interesting. No letters, no news, no tasks waiting to be done. The floor is cool beneath bare feet. The person notices the feeling, then stops thinking about it. Thoughts are slow here. They do not race. They wander. Outside, the air is still. The village does not wake all at once. It never has. One door opens somewhere far away, not loudly, just enough to exist. Another door stays closed, and another. There is no schedule. The sky above holds a pale color. Not blue yet, not dark anymore, just somewhere in between. The person steps outside. They stand for a moment, not looking for anything, not listening for anything. They simply stand. The road looks the same as it always does. Nothing new, nothing missing. A gentle breeze moves through the air. It does not bring a message. It does not bring change. It passes by. Walking begins slowly, one step, then another. The sound of footsteps is soft, barely noticeable. The village remains calm, as if it has agreed not to disturb anyone. A building appears on the left. It has always been there. It will likely always be there. No one enters it today. No one needs to. Further down the road, a well stands quietly. The stone around it is smooth from years of hands resting against it. The bucket hangs still, not moving. The person looks at it, then looks away. There is no need for water right now. Time passes. But it does not announce itself. The sun moves slightly higher. Shadows change almost imperceptibly. Nothing calls for attention. The mind begins to soften. Somewhere, a bird sits on a roof. It does not sing loudly. It does not fly away. It stays. Then eventually, without urgency, it moves. The person continues walking. They do not think about where they are going. They have walked this road many times before. The road does not change direction suddenly. It curves gently, as if it also prefers calm. A bench appears near the edge of the path. Old wood, worn edges. The person sits. They do not check the time. There is no need. Breathing remains slow, steady. The world feels held in place. Nothing is happening. And that is exactly how it is meant to be. The stillness grows comfortable, familiar. There is no pressure to move on, no expectation to finish something. The mind begins to loosen its grip. Thoughts stretch out, then fade. The light changes again, almost unnoticeably. The air remains calm, and the village continues doing what it does best. Nothing. The bench remains where it is. It has not moved. It never does. The person is still sitting on it. There's no reason to stand up yet. The wood beneath them feels firm, slightly cool, familiar. It does not surprise the body. It does not demand adjustment. Breathing continues, slow, even, quiet. The village does not change suddenly. No one calls out, no bells ring. No signal announces the passing of time. Time simply keeps going. A cloud drifts across the sky. It moves without purpose, not fast, not slow, just enough. The sunlight softens briefly, then returns to the same gentle brightness. Nothing feels different. And that is comforting. The person shifts their weight slightly on the bench. Not because they must, only because the body feels like it. The movement is small, barely noticeable. The bench creaks softly. Once, then becomes quiet again. Somewhere in the village, a door closes. Not hard, not loud, just closed. No one reacts. The road in front of the bench stays empty. It does not expect travelers. The stones remain warm under the light. They have felt this warmth many times before. They do not remember it. They do not need to. The person's eyes drift downward, then upward again. There is nothing specific to look at. That is fine. A faint sound passes through the air. Perhaps wind moving between buildings. Perhaps something else. It does not matter. The sound fades. The village exists in layers of quiet. A roof here, a wall there, a window catching light for a moment. Everything stays where it belongs. Eventually, the person stands, not abruptly, not with intention, just standing. Their feet touch the road again. The ground feels steady, unchanging. Walking resumes. One step, then another. The rhythm is slow enough that thoughts do not need to keep up. A small field appears at the edge of the village. The grass is short, uneven. Nothing grows quickly here. Nothing needs to. The person stops near the field. They look across it. There is nothing happening in the grass. No animals, no movement. Just the quiet presence of space. The air feels slightly warmer now. Not hot, not uncomfortable, just present. The person breathes in, then out. The breath matches the pace of the world around them. Far away, something metallic makes a dull sound. Perhaps a tool being placed down, not picked up again. The sound does not repeat. The day continues without ceremony. A house stands near the field. It has a simple doorway. The door is open. Inside, the space is dim, cool. The person steps inside. The interior smells faintly of wood and dust. Not unpleasant, not strong, just old. A table rests against the wall. It holds nothing of importance. A stool stands nearby. It has 3 legs, one slightly shorter than the others. It does not wobble today. The person sits again. Sitting seems to happen often here. There is no reason not to. Light enters through a small window. It forms a slow-moving shape on the floor. The shape changes as time passes. No one watches closely. The room remains quiet, so quiet that even thoughts begin to slow down. The mind drifts, not toward memories, not toward plans, just drifting. Outside, the village remains unchanged. No gathering forms, no task begins. Everyone, everywhere, seems to have agreed to pause. The person closes their eyes for a moment, not to sleep, not fully, just resting. Breathing deepens slightly, then returns to normal. Time passes again. It is difficult to say how much, minutes, maybe more. It does not matter. When the eyes open again, the room looks the same. Nothing has moved, nothing has been missed. The person stands once more. They step back outside. The sun is higher now, but not harsh. Shadows are shorter, but still soft. The road feels familiar beneath their feet. It always will. The person walks toward the far end of the village. There is nothing special there, that is why they go. A fence appears, old wood, weathered. It leans slightly, but does not fall. Beyond the fence, land stretches out, flat, quiet. The horizon is calm. The person rests their hands on the fence. They do not think. They simply feel the texture beneath their fingers, rough, dry. A breeze passes again. It moves through clothing, through grass, through thought. Then it leaves. The village behind them remains silent. No one calls their name. No one needs to. The person remains still, standing, breathing. Somewhere far away, a faint sound might be a bird, or maybe not. It fades quickly. The moment stretches, long, comfortable. Eventually the person turns back, walking slowly toward the center of the village again. The well appears once more, still unused, still patient. The bucket hangs exactly as it did before. Nothing has changed. The person walks past it. A doorway catches their attention briefly, then releases it. The light begins to soften again, slowly, almost unnoticed. The day does not announce its movement toward evening. It simply leans in that direction. The person returns to the bench, the same one. It waits. They sit. Again. Breathing slows. The world feels steady, predictable. Nothing important is happening. Nothing needs to. And as the quiet settles deeper, the mind has less reason to stay awake. The village remains, the bench remains, the person remains. Everything is exactly as it should be. The bench stays where it is. It has been there for a long time, long enough that no one remembers when it first arrived. It does not complain. It does not shift. It simply exists. The person sitting on it breathes slowly, in, out. Nothing interrupts the rhythm. The village afternoon settles into itself, not loudly, not suddenly. It settles the way dust settles, quietly, naturally. The sun drifts a little farther across the sky. It does not rush. It never does. Shadows move so slowly that no one notices. A window somewhere reflects light for a moment, then stops. The reflection does not return. The air feels still. Not heavy, not empty, just still. The person adjusts their hands in their lap. Fingers rest gently. There is no tension. Thoughts begin to stretch. They grow longer, softer, less defined. The road in front of the bench remains quiet. No footsteps, no wheels. The stones lie exactly as they were placed. A faint sound moves through the distance. It could be fabric shifting. It could be nothing. The sound fades before it becomes clear. The afternoon does not ask for attention. It does not demand activity. It allows rest. The person's shoulders relax slightly, not because they decide to, because the body knows it can. Somewhere nearby, a door creaks open, not wide, not fully, just enough to let air move. Nothing comes out, nothing goes in. The door stays open. The person's eyes move lazily across the village, roof, wall, window. Nothing stands out. That is comforting. Time moves forward, slow enough that it feels almost paused. A breeze arrives. It moves gently, touching skin, touching cloth. Then it leaves again. The person inhales. The breath feels deeper now, longer. The village remains unchanged. It has learned patience. The sound of the breeze does not return. Silence fills the space instead. The person leans back slightly on the bench. The wood supports them easily. It has done this before. The afternoon light softens again. Colors grow less sharp. Edges blur gently. A cat might be sleeping somewhere, or maybe not. It does not matter. The world does not need to explain itself. The person stands again, slowly, not because they must move, but because standing feels right. Their feet touch the ground, the stones feel familiar, steady. Walking begins. Each step is unhurried. There is no destination. The road curves slightly. It always has. A patch of shade appears. The person steps into it. The temperature changes just enough to notice. Breathing remains calm. Even the shade does not last long. The person steps back into light. A small wooden cart rests near a wall. It has not moved today. It will not move soon. The wheels are still. They do not squeak. The person pauses beside the cart. They look at it. There is nothing to consider. They continue walking. The afternoon feels long, not in a tiring way, in a gentle way. A building casts a wider shadow now. The shadow stretches across the road. The person walks through it, then out again. No one speaks, no one watches. The village holds its breath, not because it is tense, because it is calm. The person reaches a quiet corner, a place where two walls meet. Nothing happens here. That is why it exists. They stand there for a moment. The air feels slightly cooler. A sound comes from far away, metal touching wood once. Then silence again. The person blinks slowly. Thoughts fade further. They no longer form sentences. They become impressions. Time becomes less important. The sun continues its path without announcement. The person turns back toward the bench, walking at the same pace. Nothing has changed along the way. The bench waits. It always does. They sit again. The wood feels the same. Breathing deepens slightly, then steadies. The afternoon light now feels softer, warmer. A sense of drowsiness begins to appear. Not heavy, just present. The village does not resist it. A window closes somewhere, quietly. The sound blends into the background. The person's eyes half close, not fully, just enough. The body sinks into stillness. The bench supports weight without complaint. Time passes again, uncounted. The sun lowers. Shadows stretch again. The afternoon leans toward evening, gently. The air cools slightly. The person remains seated, breathing slow, thoughts minimal. Nothing interrupts, nothing arrives. The village remains exactly as it is. The world feels safe, predictable. Sleep begins to feel closer, not demanded, invited. The person does not fight it. They simply remain, breathing, resting. As the quiet deepens, the afternoon fades softly into stillness. Everything slows, and nothing needs to happen next. The light begins to change, not suddenly, not clearly. It simply stops being what it was. The afternoon loosens its hold on the village. It does not leave. It fades. The bench remains where it has always been. The person is still seated. Nothing urges them to stand. Breathing moves slowly now, in, out. Each breath feels heavier than the last. The sun lowers without asking for attention. Shadows lengthen across stone and dirt. No one counts them. A roof edge catches the light for a moment, then releases it. The air cools slightly, just enough to notice. The person adjusts their position on the bench, not because of discomfort, because stillness sometimes shifts on its own. The village grows quieter, not because sounds stop, because they become too small to matter. A distant clink, once, then gone. The person's eyes rest on the ground ahead. The stones look softer now, rounded by time. Nothing looks new. Everything looks familiar. The sky above loses contrast. Blue becomes pale. Edges blur. The evening does not announce itself. It simply arrives. A door closes somewhere, slowly, carefully. No footsteps follow. The person exhales. The breath lasts longer. The body feels heavier, thoughts slow again. They no longer move forward. They drift sideways. A faint smell of earth settles in the air. dry, neutral. The village prepares for night without effort. The person remains seated, hands resting loosely, fingers unmoving. The bench creaks softly, once, then silence. The sound does not return. A shadow moves across the ground, fast enough to track, not slow enough to matter. The person blinks, slowly. Eyelids feel warm, comfortable. The road in front remains empty, as it prefers to be. The evening light softens every surface. Nothing stands out. Nothing demands focus. Breathing deepens. Each inhale fills completely. Each exhale empties fully. The body begins to settle into itself. Muscles release without instruction. The shoulders drop a little more. The neck relaxes. The jaw loosens. Time stretches, then thins. A window glows faintly somewhere, not bright, just present. The glow does not change. The person notices it, then stops noticing it. The air becomes cooler again, gently. The evening feels stable, predictable. A sense of safety spreads quietly. Nothing unexpected has happened today. Nothing will. The person leans back slightly. The bench supports them easily. The wood feels warmer now. The sky darkens another shade. Colors fade toward neutral tones. The village holds still. Breathing becomes automatic. No effort, no thought. A faint sound of fabric moving. Wind, maybe, or nothing. The sound fades before it becomes clear. The person's awareness softens. The world feels distant. Thoughts lose their shape. They do not connect. The bench, the road, the walls. All feel equally unimportant. The evening grows deeper. A lantern might be lit somewhere, or not. If it is, it stays unseen. The person remains. Still, calm. The air feels smooth against the skin. The sky above now holds less light. Stars may appear later, or clouds. There is no need to check. The village accepts the darkness slowly. The person's breathing slows further, each breath slightly longer than the last. The body feels heavy, not tired, grounded. Time becomes unclear. Minutes stretch. The sound of this narration may feel farther away. That is natural. You do not need to follow the words. They can pass by. The bench remains, the village remains. Nothing changes in a way that matters. The evening has fully arrived now. A coolness settles in the air. The person's eyes close briefly, then open again, then rest halfway. Sleep begins to feel closer, not urgent, inviting. The body responds naturally. The person no longer shifts, no longer adjusts. Stillness deepens. The village feels wrapped in quiet. A faint creak somewhere, then silence again. The evening does not rush toward night. It blends into it. The person breathes, slow, even. The bench supports them. The ground beneath remains steady. Nothing enters the scene. Nothing leaves. The world feels complete. The person's awareness drifts. Edges soften. Thoughts dissolve before forming. Breathing continues. The evening darkens one last shade. Everything slows. The village rests. The person rests. Sleep moves closer. There is no need to resist. Nothing else will happen, and that is exactly how it should be. Night has fully arrived, not as an event, not as a moment. It simply is. The village rests beneath it. No movement calls attention. No sound asks to be heard. The bench remains where it has always been. The person is still there. Or perhaps they have been there so long that it no longer matters. Breathing continues. Slow, even, uncounted. The air feels cooler now, not cold, just settled. The darkness does not feel heavy, it feels wide. The road ahead has softened into shadow. Edges disappear. The stones beneath the road are still there. They do not need to be seen. The person's posture remains relaxed. No tension, no effort. The bench holds quietly. Somewhere far away, a faint sound exists. It could be wind, it could be nothing. It fades before becoming clear. Silence returns. Unbroken, the sky above holds no sharp points of light. If there are stars, they are distant, soft, unimportant. The person's eyelids rest lower now, not fully closed, just heavy. Thoughts arrive slowly, then dissolve. Nothing connects, nothing continues. The body feels warm from the inside. A gentle heaviness settles into the chest. Each breath feels longer than the last, not deeper, just slower. The night does not rush. It has nowhere to go. The village accepts the darkness without resistance. A wall nearby absorbs the last hint of light, then becomes only shape. The person notices the quiet, then stops noticing it. Awareness drifts outward, then inward, then nowhere at all. Time loses direction. Moments stretch, then flatten. The bench creaks softly, once, then rests again. The sound does not repeat. The person's shoulders release further. Muscles soften without instruction. The neck feels loose, the jaw relaxed. Breathing continues on its own. The night air moves gently, not enough to feel, just enough to exist. Nothing enters the space, nothing leaves. The road remains empty, as it always has been. The darkness feels stable, reliable. The person leans slightly deeper into stillness. There is no need to sleep, and yet sleep feels closer. The body recognizes the safety of this moment. Thoughts become faint echoes. They pass without meaning. The sound of this voice may feel distant now. That is expected. You do not need to listen. The words are not important. They can fade. The night holds everything evenly, no direction, no destination. The village rests as a whole. A window somewhere remains dark. No lamps are lit. The ground beneath remains solid, unmoving. Breathing slows again. Longer pauses appear between breaths. The body responds naturally. Sleep signals begin quietly. The person's head lowers slightly, just enough to feel supported. The bench remains steady. The darkness deepens, not in color, but in feeling. Everything feels padded, softened. Time no longer measures itself. There is no before, no after, only now. The person's awareness thins. The edges of thought blur. Memory loses importance. The night wraps gently around the village. A sense of completion settles in. Nothing has been missed. Nothing is expected. The body grows heavier, not tired, anchored. Breathing continues, slow, automatic. The village remains unchanged. The night remains kind. The person no longer adjusts, no longer shifts. Stillness deepens further. The soundscape becomes almost empty. Silence stretches. The darkness feels protective. Sleep draws closer. The bench, the road, the walls, they all fade into the same quiet presence. The body no longer holds itself upright. It simply is. The night accepts everything without demand. Nothing new will happen. Nothing needs to. The person's eyes finally close, not deliberately, naturally. Breathing continues. The pause between breaths grows slightly longer. The body settles deeper. Awareness drifts. The village rests. The night remains. Everything stays the same, and that sameness is enough. You are safe here. You may rest. You may drift. You may sleep. Nothing will disturb this moment. Nothing will change. The night holds steady. The breath continues. The silence remains, and everything stays exactly as it is. The night has settled even further now. Not darker, not quieter, just deeper. The village no longer feels like a place. It feels like a condition. Stillness exists everywhere at once. The bench is still there, the road is still there, but they no longer ask to be noticed. Breathing continues, slow, reliable, unforced. The body knows this rhythm now. It does not need reminders. The air feels steady, neither cool nor warm, balanced. Nothing moves quickly enough to be tracked. The silence feels thicker, not heavy, soft. Thoughts drift in slowly, then dissolve before finishing. Awareness loosens its grip. The person no longer feels separate from the space. Bench, air, night, all feel similar. The road ahead disappears into shadow, not because it ends, but because seeing it is no longer necessary. Time stretches without shape, moments pass without edges, breathing deepens slightly, then returns to slow. The body adjusts on its own, shoulders sink, hands relax further, the jaw loosens again, the face feels smooth, still. Nothing pulls attention outward. The night holds everything evenly. If there is a sound, it is distant, too distant to identify. It fades quickly. Silence returns unchanged. The darkness does not press inward, it opens outward. The village becomes less specific. Buildings lose detail, paths lose direction. Everything blends into quiet presence. The person no longer counts breaths, they simply happen. Long pauses appear between inhaling and exhaling. The body welcomes them. There is no urge to move. Muscles soften further. Even posture becomes irrelevant. The bench continues supporting without effort. The night feels timeless now. There is no earlier, no later. Only this extended stillness. The mind floats lightly. Thoughts appear as faint impressions, not words, not images. They pass without resistance. The sound of this voice may feel very far away. That is intentional. You do not need to follow it. It can fade completely. The body already knows what to do. Sleep approaches without announcement. The breath grows heavier, slower. Each inhale arrives gently. Each exhale leaves more slowly. The space between breaths grows calm. Nothing interrupts. The night feels safe, consistent. No surprises exist here. The village rests without memory. Even the idea of resting begins to fade. The person's awareness thins further. Edges blur. Distance loses meaning. The bench, the road, the walls, they are no longer separate. Everything feels held. The body sinks deeper into stillness. The mind drifts. Thoughts dissolve before forming. The night remains unchanged. Breathing continues automatically. The chest rises, then rests, longer, slower, heavier. The body responds with ease. Sleep signals strengthen. The person no longer listens actively. The soundscape becomes nearly empty. Silence expands. Even silence stops being noticed. The night does not demand sleep. It allows it. The village feels distant now, as if remembered rather than experienced. The person exists somewhere between waking and sleep, a gentle, floating state. Breathing stays steady. The body feels anchored. Thoughts do not linger. Nothing connects. Nothing continues. The night holds this moment carefully. Time stretches further, then disappears entirely. The breath becomes deeper. Exhales linger. Pauses grow longer. The body accepts this rhythm fully. Muscles remain loose. No tension returns. The bench remains steady. The darkness remains kind. The person no longer wonders where they are. That question has lost meaning. The night feels complete. Nothing is missing. Nothing needs to arrive. The body drifts further inward. Sleep begins to take hold. The awareness fades. The sound of this voice may now be only a suggestion, or gone entirely. That is correct. The night continues holding everything. Breathing continues, slow, even, safe. The village rests. The road remains empty. The bench supports quietly. The darkness remains unchanged. The person no longer reacts. No adjustment, no movement, just presence. Then even presence softens. Sleep deepens. The mind releases fully. The night remains. Nothing changes. Nothing needs to. You are safe. You are supported. You are free to sleep. The night holds everything still, and everything stays exactly as it is. Now the night feels endless, not long, not short, just without edges. There is no beginning here, no middle, no end. The body already understands this space. Breathing happens without effort, without direction. The chest rises, the chest falls, nothing else follows. The village no longer exists as a place. It has softened into an idea, then into a feeling, then into nothing at all. The bench is forgotten, the road is forgotten, only the sense of being supported remains. The darkness does not surround, it blends. The air feels thick with calm. Thoughts no longer arrive fully, they start and dissolve. The mind does not chase them, there is no need. The body feels heavier now, not uncomfortable, just settled. Every muscle is loose, the shoulders have dropped completely, the neck is still, the face is smooth, even the eyes feel quiet. Behind the eyelids, there is no image, just softness. The space between breaths grows longer. Pauses stretch gently. The body welcomes these pauses. There is no fear here. Nothing unexpected can happen. The night holds everything evenly. Time no longer moves forward. It simply stays. The sound of this voice is distant. It may feel like it is coming from far away, or from inside, or from nowhere. That is correct. You do not need to listen. You do not need to understand. Words are only passing air. Sleep does not require language. The body drifts deeper, heavier, slower, still. Breathing becomes deeper. Exhales grow longer. Inhales arrive softly. The pause after each breath grows calm. Nothing interrupts. Nothing pulls attention. The night feels smooth, like a surface without texture. The mind floats gently. Awareness thins. Edges disappear. There is no inside, no outside. The body and the space feel the same. Thoughts no longer form sentences. They are impressions. Then they fade. The village has dissolved completely. There is only rest. No memory, no planning, no noticing. The darkness feels comfortable, familiar. The body trusts this state. There is nothing to do, nothing to fix, nothing to wait for. Breathing continues, slow, reliable, unchanged. The night does not hurry. Sleep arrives naturally. The person is already very deep now, so deep that effort no longer exists. The body sinks into stillness. The mind lets go. Even letting go becomes unnecessary. The silence expands, then becomes unnoticeable. There is no contrast. Everything blends. The sound of this voice may disappear entirely. That is expected. Sleep does not need guidance anymore. The body has taken over. The breath moves gently. The heart beats steadily. The muscles remain loose. Nothing tightens. Nothing returns. The night stays constant. Time has no meaning here. Minutes and hours dissolve. The body rests deeply. The mind rests deeply. Awareness fades further, almost gone. The state between dreaming and nothingness approaches. There is no effort to enter it. It arrives on its own. Breathing slows again. Pauses lengthen. Everything remains safe. The body feels fully supported. There is no need to adjust, no need to swallow, no need to move. The night holds everything gently. Even identity feels distant now. Names are forgotten, places are forgotten, only rest remains. The body drifts deeper, sleep thickens, the silence becomes complete. There are no edges left, no beginning, no end, just deep, steady rest. The night continues, unchanged, calm, still. You are already asleep. The voice fades completely. The body rests on its own. Breathing continues, slow, even, deep. Nothing follows, nothing needs to. The night remains, holding everything without effort, without sound, without thought. There is no need to listen now. The body already knows where it is going. The breath is slow. The breath is steady. Nothing pulls attention. Nothing asks for response. The night has fully settled. The space feels thick with stillness, not heavy, just quiet. The body rests completely. There is no tension left. Even the smallest muscles are loose. The jaw is soft. The tongue rests. The eyes are still. The forehead is smooth. There is no expression anymore, only rest. The breath moves in, the breath moves out. The pause between breaths grows longer, and then unnoticeable. The mind does not follow words. Words drift past without shape, without meaning. They dissolve before forming. The body is already asleep. Deeply, naturally, there is no awareness of time. Minutes do not pass, hours do not pass. There is only this deep, even state. The night feels endless, but not in a long way, in a soft way. Like floating without direction. There is no edge to this space, no beginning, no ending. The body sinks further, as if resting inside rest. Breathing becomes quieter, slower, almost silent. The chest barely moves. The body does not need to adjust. It is fully comfortable. The sound of this voice is distant now, very distant, like a memory of sound. It does not require attention. It does not disturb. The mind no longer reacts. There are no thoughts, only absence, and that absence feels safe. The night holds everything evenly. Nothing changes, nothing interrupts. The body remains still. The heart beats softly, steadily, reliably. There is no effort in being here. Sleep has fully arrived. The deepest layer, dreamless, timeless. The breath continues on its own. In, out, pause, long pause. The nervous system is calm, completely settled. There is no alertness left, only rest. The darkness is not noticed anymore. Neither is the space. Everything blends into one quiet state. The body feels distant, almost forgotten, weightless, supported, still. There is no sense of self, no story, no memory, no future, only this deep, steady calm. The night does not move, the silence does not break. The breath remains slow, consistent, gentle. The mind stays empty. If a thought appears, it fades instantly, without reaction, without interest. Sleep deepens again, even deeper than before. There is no awareness of this happening. It simply is. The sound of this voice may disappear completely now. That is perfect. Sleep does not require sound. The body remains asleep, comfortable, safe, warm, still. The night continues holding everything. The silence thickens, then becomes unnoticed. Breathing continues, slow, even, automatic. Nothing changes, nothing returns. The state remains deep, stable, unbroken. There is no waking here, no dreaming here, just rest, pure rest. The body stays asleep. The mind stays quiet. The night stays calm. Everything stays exactly as it is. No movement, no thought, no sound, only sleep. Deep, steady, complete. You do not need to listen. You are already asleep. The body is resting on its own. The breath moves without effort. Nothing needs attention. Nothing needs thought. The night is steady, very steady. There is no shift, no movement, no change. The body remains exactly where it is, comfortable, still. The breath flows in, the breath flows out. The pause between breaths is long, natural, unforced. The heart beats quietly, slow, even, reliable. The nervous system is calm, fully calm. There is no alertness left, no response, no listening, just sleep, deep sleep. The mind is empty. If a thought appears, it dissolves immediately, without shape, without meaning. The body does not react. The body does not adjust. It remains supported, The surface beneath feels perfect, exactly right. No discomfort, no pressure, no awareness of position. The jaw stays loose, the shoulders stay heavy, the arms rest naturally. The legs are completely relaxed, nothing tight, nothing held, everything released. Breathing continues, slow, quiet, automatic. The chest barely moves. The stomach rises gently, then falls, then stillness again. The night feels thick, soft, holding everything evenly. There is no sense of time. Minutes do not exist. Hours do not exist. Only this deep state exists. The sound of this voice is far away, very far away. It blends into silence. It does not interrupt sleep. It does not invite awareness. Sleep stays deep, unbroken. The mind stays quiet, blank, open, empty. There is no dream, no image, no story, only rest. The body sinks deeper, as if resting inside rest. Layers of relaxation continue, without effort, without notice. Breathing remains steady. In, out, pause, long pause. The pause feels longer than the breath. The body is completely safe. Nothing is needed. Nothing is missing. The night does not change. The silence does not change. The temperature feels neutral, perfect. The body does not respond to sound. It stays asleep. The mind stays inactive. There is no curiosity, no awareness, just stillness. The heart continues its gentle rhythm, reliable, unnoticed. The muscles remain loose. The spine rests naturally. The face has no expression. The eyes are fully relaxed. There is no movement behind them. The breath continues, slow, even, calm. The body does not shift. It does not need to. Sleep is stable, very stable. Deep layers hold everything. There is no rising, no floating, no sinking anymore. Just staying, resting, being. The night holds steady. The silence holds steady. Sleep holds steady. Nothing interrupts. Nothing changes. If sound exists, it passes without reaction. If thought exists, it fades instantly. Sleep remains undisturbed, unaware, complete. The body continues breathing. The heart continues beating. The mind continues resting. There is no edge to this state, no boundary, no transition, just deep, continuous sleep. The night stretches endlessly, softly, gently, without notice. The body stays asleep. The mind stays quiet. The silence stays full. Everything stays exactly as it is. No waking, no dreaming, only deep rest, pure rest, sustained rest. The breath remains slow, the pauses remain long, the body remains still, the night remains calm, sleep remains unbroken, nothing arrives, nothing leaves, nothing needs to happen. This state continues and continues and continues. Nothing changes, sleep continues, the body remains resting, the mind remains quiet. There is no signal to wake, no reason to move, no reason to think. The night feels long, soft, uninterrupted. The breath moves slowly, in, out. Pause. The pause is gentle, comfortable. The body is still supported, exactly as it was. No adjustment needed. The surface beneath remains steady. The temperature remains neutral. Nothing disturbs the skin. Nothing touches awareness. Sleep stays deep, but calm, not heavy, not light, just steady. The mind does not wander. It stays blank, open, empty. There is no dream, no image, no sound that matters. If sound exists, it blends into rest. It does not pull attention. The ears do not react. The body does not react. Breathing remains slow, natural, effortless. The chest rises gently, falls gently, then stillness. The heart beats quietly, even, unnoticed, reliable. The muscles remain loose, no tension anywhere. The jaw stays soft, the forehead stays smooth. The eyes remain completely relaxed, no movement behind them. The body does not sense time. Morning does not exist yet. Clocks do not exist. Only rest exists. Sleep remains uninterrupted. If a thought appears, it dissolves immediately, without shape, without meaning. The body remains asleep. The mind remains inactive. There is no alertness, no readiness, no anticipation, just rest. The night gently holds everything like a soft blanket. Even if light changes, the body stays asleep. Even if sounds increase, the body stays asleep. Sleep adapts, without effort, without awareness. The breath continues, slow, deep. Even the pauses remain long, comfortable. The body remains still, perfectly still. No turning, no shifting, no stretching. Nothing calls for movement. Sleep feels complete, whole, satisfying. The nervous system remains calm, balanced, rested, safe. The night gently fades, but sleep does not. Sleep continues smoothly, naturally, without interruption. The body remains in rest mode. The mind remains quiet. The silence remains full. There is no edge, no transition yet, just continuation. Breathing stays slow, heart stays calm, body stays heavy, comfort stays constant. If awareness tries to rise, it settles back down automatically. Sleep protects itself. Deep rest protects itself. The body knows how to sleep. It does not need help. It does not need guidance. It simply continues. The night becomes lighter, but sleep stays. The body remains unaware. The mind remains still. Nothing pulls you upward. Nothing interrupts rest. This is safe sleep, natural sleep, complete sleep. The body finishes its cycles, gently, quietly, without notice. Sleep continues until it is done. No rushing, no forcing, just continuation. The breath remains slow, the pauses remain soft, the body remains relaxed. Everything remains exactly as it should be. Sleep completes itself in its own time, in its own way, without effort, without awareness. Rest remains, calm remains, sleep remains. Now there is nothing new to remember, nothing important to follow, nothing that needs attention. Everything that could happen has already happened, and now it is finished. The world does not move forward anymore. It simply stays still, quiet, slow. You can imagine a place where time has stopped gently, not suddenly, not sharply, but softly, like a candle flame becoming smaller and smaller until it becomes only warmth without light. In this place, there is no story left to tell, no beginning, no ending, only the feeling of rest, a long, deep rest. Imagine an old road, a road that has been walked on for hundreds of years. So many footsteps passed here that the ground has forgotten who walked first. Now the road is empty. No carts, no animals, no people. Just the road, lying quietly, doing nothing. The stones are warm, not hot, just comfortably warm. Nothing changes here, and nothing needs to change. Your breathing can slow down now. There is no reason to stay alert. No reason to think ahead. No reason to look back. Each breath becomes longer, and each pause between breaths becomes slightly deeper. Somewhere far away there might be a sound, or maybe there isn't. It does not matter, because your mind does not need to identify anything anymore. There is no task, no meaning, no message, only sound or silence. Both are the same now. Imagine a simple wooden room, no decorations, no bright colors, just plain walls, aged wood, soft shadows. Nothing inside this room asks for attention. The room itself feels sleepy, as if it has been waiting quietly for centuries, waiting to rest. Your thoughts may still appear, but they do not stay long. They arrive slowly and leave even more slowly, like clouds that forget why they came. You don't need to follow them. You don't need to push them away. Let them drift. Let them fade. Time does not move in straight lines here. Minutes feel like soft blankets. Hours feel weightless. There is no schedule, no future moment that needs preparation. Nothing important is about to happen. And that is exactly why you can relax completely. Your body knows what to do now. It has done this thousands of times before. You do not need to help it. You do not need to control it. Sleep is not something you do. Sleep is something that happens when you stop doing. Imagine a field at night, not dramatic, not beautiful, just a field. Quiet, flat, still. The grass does not move. The air barely exists. Nothing watches, nothing waits. Your awareness becomes softer, like fabric that has been washed too many times, smooth, gentle, loose. Thoughts lose their edges, feelings lose their names. Everything becomes neutral, calm, unimportant. You are not falling asleep. Sleep is slowly covering you, like dust settling, like darkness arriving without announcement. There is no moment you need to notice, no point where sleep begins. It simply arrives because nothing is stopping it anymore. Even this voice does not need to be followed. It can fade, it can become background, it can disappear completely. Nothing bad will happen, nothing will be missed. There is no next scene, no next idea, no next place, only this. And then, not even this. You can let go now, completely, without effort, without expectation, without awareness. There is even less to notice now, less sound, less space, less time. Even the idea of less becomes unimportant. Nothing is being added, nothing is being taken away. Everything simply remains. Breathing happens on its own. No one is breathing. It is just happening, in, out. And then a pause that does not ask to be counted. There is no direction here, no forward, no backward, no inside, no outside, only a gentle state of being without edges. Thoughts no longer arrive clearly. If they come, they arrive incomplete, like half-remembered dreams. They do not finish themselves. They fade before they mean anything. The mind does not need words now. Words dissolve before they form. Sentences lose their shape. Language becomes unnecessary. Silence does not feel empty. It feels complete. Imagine nothing specific. No room, no field, no road, not even darkness. Just a soft absence of effort. A quiet state where nothing needs to appear. There is no listener here anymore. No attention following sound. No awareness checking what comes next. Even awareness itself becomes soft, thin, transparent. Time is no longer moving. It is no longer waiting. It no longer exists in a way that matters. Minutes do not pass. Hours do not begin. Sleep has already taken its place. The body rests without instruction. Muscles let go without asking permission. The face becomes still. The jaw loosens. The eyes remain closed without effort. Nothing needs to be protected. Nothing needs to be understood. Nothing needs to be remembered. This moment does not need to be saved. Even this voice does not need to stay. It can soften, it can slow, it can fade completely, and nothing will change. There is no ending here, because endings require attention. This simply continues, quietly, without awareness, without interruption. You are not falling asleep now, you are already there. There is no transition left, only rest, deep, unbroken rest.